Hi, Dryft here. My van is due for its 6-monthly inspection. In New Zealand you can get it done at any garage, but I like to take it to the independent testing stations. They've got no vested interest in finding anything to repair because they don't actually do any repairs. So I find that they're pretty good value. It costs the same as the inspection at a garage, but as I said, they've got no emphasis or any benefit out of finding anything for themselves to repair. They just find what's there that's unsafe for it to be on the road, basically, and that's their job. So I took it there. There were 4 things that needed repairing. There was number plate light bulb was out. That was the fitting had corroded a bit. I had to solder one of the wires back on and fix that. The window washers were not working. That was a fail. And I took the hoses apart from under the bonnet and the spray nozzles and cleared them all out. Hot water and a bit of air, and fixed them all up as well. They're all working. The other thing was they found some rust. They shining through. They said if they shone a torch through behind the air filter box under the bonnet, they could see some rust on the firewall. I have to have a look at that. And they said there's some play in the left-hand end steering rack. I got under there on the ground and tried to wiggle things around and couldn't find anything. But I'm going to have to get it up in the air and have a good look at the steering rack and see if their play is on the steering rack end. It may need a new steering rack end, but I'll have a look, see what that is. So I can't find any play either end of the steering rack. However, the left hand side boot is torn, so the rubber boot, that's that part there on the other side is torn, and I can replace that. I'm going to get the wife though to come. I'm going to put the car back down on the ground. I'm going to get the wife to come and turn the wheels and see if there is any other play that I can find in the steering rack. Well, so checked it all out. There's no play in that steering rack. There may be a fraction of play where the column joins the rack, but nothing that probably isn't within factory tolerance. So the boot on the left hand end is split. I'm going to order a new boot. I'm going to clean up the steering rack, put the new boot on and take it back to the testing station, and I'm sure it'll pass. I think on that day they were just getting started, and it just goes to show that even at independent testing centres they make mistakes. There's nothing wrong with that steering rack. I don't know what was going on. Maybe they had it jacked and it was insecure. I don't know. Maybe it wobbled. Maybe he thought he felt something and saw the split boot and thought, well, it may as well, it's going to go in to have a new boot put on and may as well have the rack end done. I don't know. But anyway, that's it. Problem solved, or lack of problem solved. I'll order a new steering rack boot, put that on there, make it all look nice and tidy again and take it in, and should be fine. Now I do have to have a look at the rust under the bonnet, but that'd be a minor issue as well. So yeah, that's all from me for this one. Yeah, so I had a look at the rust. It was no rust actually. It was just where behind the airbox there is a clip that holds about 4 or 5 vacuum lines which operate the automation of the 4-wheel drive system to use the controls for the 4-wheel drive system. That clip was a steel clip screwed onto the firewall. The steel clip was rusty and there was rust staining from the clip coming down the inside of the firewall. So I've cleaned up the clip with a wire brush and cleaned off all the staining and then sprayed it with some grey red iron oxide paint. So it's all sorted out, put everything back together. So now it's just to have a look at that steering rack, and that's the last thing to sort out before it can go back for its inspection. Hi, so the last repair I've got to do on the van for its warrant of fitness is change the steering rack boot. And I've got a new steering rack boot here. Yeah, here it is. This is the part. Oh, hold on, we'll take it out of the box. Hard to do one-handed, but there we are. Here it is. Here's the steering rack boot, and in there is a couple of cable ties as well, just for good measure. Yeah. To put, there we are, to put around the end and around that end as well on the steering rack end. So that's the new boot, and also some Penrite extreme pressure grease. Apparently that's the grease. Extreme pressure grease is what you use inside on the steering rack bit. So I'm going to take the wheel off and mark the threads where the tie rod ends are, get it up in the air, unbolt it from the tie rod end, slide the old boot off, cut the old boot off, put the old new one on, and button it all up, and it should be done. I'll come back to you. Well, it's done. That was quick, wasn't it? Magic of YouTube videos. So the old boot, it's off. There it is there. It was in two pieces. There's the cable ties. And the new one is now there. All done up again. You see the markings where I marked the tie rod end there. The felt tin and the bolt and the shaft. Counted the thread back, 7 threads. Undid that bolt. Unscrewed the tie rod from the tie rod end. Took the bolt off. Slid off the old boot. Slid on the new boot. Stretched it over the other big end. Put the cable tie on. Put that cable tie on. Put it all back together. Lined up the marks. And tightened everything up. Now I just have to put the wheel back on. There was a little bit of play in the ball joint part of the tie rod end, which is just under the cover. Fraction, I just packed it up with grease, and there is no play at all now. So it's back into the MOT tomorrow, and I suppose at some stage I probably should get a wheel alignment anyway. It needs a wheel alignment. It's been, never had one in my time, and it does have a slight little bit of wear on that outside tyre after 7 years. Yeah, big deal, but maybe not. Anyway, that's it. Tomorrow I'll go to the MOT and it'll get a new sticker right there. It'll be good for another 6 months. I think I said if you're not from New Zealand, vehicles older than 2000, this is 1995, have to get checked every 6 months. And vehicles newer than 2000 get checked yearly. Have to go to the testing centre and get checked. So that's the van done. We'll take it tomorrow, get its new warrant of fitness. Thanks for watching.